Hi there. Welcome to Peppers and Flowers, where sales and marketing doesn't make sense. Please join us for the conversation.
All right. It's another week in paradise.
That's right. That's what they say.
By the way, if you hear a baby, that's because we have a baby. I have a baby right now. I have my daughter, Lila. She's with me. Mommy is out shopping. So we have a little special guest today. So
All right.
keep
All
that in
right,
mind.
Lila. Good to have you on the staff here at Peppers and Flowers. So, yeah, it reminded me of an old 80s movie. It was called like Two Men and a Baby. And I was like basically about two men having to babysit a baby at home.
Yeah, now it's two men and a two men, a baby, and a podcast.
And the podcast, that's right.
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh, man.
How
Awesome.
funny.
So, yeah.
So let's jump into it. What do you say?
Sounds perfect.
So the topic this week, I'm primarily an online marketer. That's what my focus on. And I feel like, James, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like when it comes to sales, you prefer to do in-person encounters, right?
Yeah, honestly, when you meet people face to face, there's not as much of a guard that goes up. Especially when you shake a hand or just say a nice hello and a greeting. It's just there's something disarming about. All right, Lila, see you. She gets
Yeah,
it.
that was a good comment. That was so wise.
Yeah, yeah. So that's the thing. It's the human element of a face-to-face interaction.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think that kind of ties into our topic we were thinking about talking today, which is, well, let me regress. I'm getting too far ahead of myself. Um, so is Lila. So is Lila. But in-person sales and marketing in terms of online, I hear people say things like, oh, online marketing is the way to go because offline marketing is dead. And I totally disagree with that. I think that's kind of a way for online marketers just to say, no, you should just go with me because everything else makes no sense unless it's online marketing, right? I
Right.
kind of disagree. And I think that goes really well into our topic today, which is brick and mortar or storefronts,
Right.
offline marketing. I mean, we can talk a little bit about online marketing too, but it really combines offline marketing, a little bit of online marketing, and in-person sales.
Yeah. Yeah, truly. I mean, nowadays if you're a brick and mortar shop, say a restaurant or a diner of some sort or a coffee house, it's like you want to have an established Instagram page, a Facebook page, and you want to be active on those pages as well. But when someone comes in your store, you still want to have a nice presence and maybe even have some signage outside and things like that to attract people in. The old school methods still work, and
Yeah, they
you
really
know,
do.
yeah, definitely. So, yeah. So I mean, I know that when it comes to the old school method of even just going door to door, although in some places maybe that's not allowed. We actually had some people go out door to door here for a local grocery store, and and introducing themselves, presenting the store to the neighborhood, and then selling memberships. So it's kind of like we're actually knocking on doors, collecting payment at the door, getting a signature, and then giving
Yeah.
them a card for membership. It was kind of cool. So it was like, that's definitely that offline knocking, the heel toe express, I call it, just walking door to door.
Did you say the
And
heel toe express?
yeah, the heel toe express, walking on the heel toe.
I've never heard that.
And
Wow.
some people call it boots to the ground or whatever, I mean, it's just different ways of saying it, but basically it's that grit of just walking, going door to door, knocking on a door, ringing a doorbell, and just asking for the household owner or whatever it is and having that conversation. It's still effective. We just did this like within the last couple of years, and we had good results. A lot of memberships sold. You know, the owner of the owner of the market was really happy with the results.
It's so funny. It really does. I think when something's difficult, like door-to-door sales,
Hmm.
um, is a method, right? So it's probably a more difficult method because you have to put a lot of exertion into it,
Hmm.
and then you have to build the guts up to go knock on people's doors. I mean, it's kind of terrifying, you know. So I really respect
Yeah.
people who do that, but I think that's probably the most unattractive sales method there is. And so if there's something that's slightly easier, people write that off and will go, no. You don't do that anymore because you can just do online. It's less like people try to avoid that, but
Right.
like people get a lot of good results from door knocking. Like if you're a chiropractor and you door knocked, you would get results.
Yeah. You would. And you can even just, you know, throw jokes out there at people at the door, or, you know, have the funniest like 30-second elevator pitch, you know, just have fun with it.
Yeah, I think I talked to an online marketing guy the other day, and he's like, he's in some small town in Georgia.
Mhm.
He was like, yeah, I just started door knocking. And people were like, yeah, I got like a landscape company and stuff. That's crazy. So it's really unique. When it comes to storefronts, I think is probably the easiest way for you to know what your game plan is.
Right.
Here's why. So when you're online is the scalability of online is massive, just like offline with storefronts like strip malls and different stores and stuff. But the difference is with online, you don't have to travel. You basically type in a phrase like Marshalls, and then you get to see all the Marshalls everywhere. But if you do it offline, you'd have to like, basically like get a phone book or travel around and see if you can run into storefronts of Marshalls.
Yeah.
And the cool thing with offline is it's a lot easier to drive by and see what they're doing, like what's on their windows, oh, there you go, what's outside. And it's kind of cool because you don't realize like that storefront material is everywhere.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Um,
Yeah, it's
it
like
also, yeah.
you don't have to like search around for it. You just have to walk in front of the store and you'll see a bunch of stuff about it. You might even see stuff on billboards and that type of thing. I mean, you know, I think well, for sure storefronts have to deal with returning customers and building their client base and all that
Right. Right.
stuff. But sometimes I think luck has to do a lot about it, right? It's kind of funny, like, well, man, you got lucky, oh, awesome. Yeah, you're successful because you hit this one location and you're just doing great. But I think people leave out luck a lot, right? Like, because the same scenario could happen and you're on a great location apparently, but it just doesn't work for frozen yogurt, right? But then the one frozen yogurt place that does work really well in the corner, they go, oh man, you were smart. But who knew if it would actually work out or not? It could have not worked out.
Right. Right.
It's
I
like, it's
mean,
kind of weird.
yeah, and also too, like when you go out there knocking on doors, um, you start to find businesses like kind of like hidden. Like you think, you know, when you're driving on the main streets, you're looking side to side, and you see all these stores, and it's like, oh yeah, I know this neighborhood. There's a Payless here. There's a McDonald's there. There's like a restaurant over here, Mary Callender's, whatever it is, and then it's like, yeah, I know the neighborhood. But when you actually get out of the car and start knocking on the doors, start walking, you find out there's more stores that are in the back, and they're kind of hidden. And it's amazing what you find when you're just going door to door. Like you start to uncover stores you can't see off the streets. You start to talk to people that are, sometimes the owner's actually there, and they're like, yeah, I'm only here in the afternoons, but here I am. And, you have a nice conversation with the owner, and now you have a chance at actually getting a sale, because that's the decision maker, right? So, yeah, there's some wisdom though. You're not gonna, I mean, with like the larger chains, if you're looking to do some mass marketing to like a Del Taco, or one of the major chains that are out there, the best method to get in touch with them is to go to the corporate headquarters and ask for their marketing person or whatever it is you're looking for. And but when you're going down to the mom and pops, which I think is a hidden gem, these people are amazing people. To be a mom and pop, like, especially like a burger place, and to compete with the McDonald's that are out there, and actually do well. It's like, these are some really strong, amazing people, and you get to meet them, and a lot of times the owners at the restaurant,
Yeah, there's a certain feel with like mom and pop shops and storefronts. Well, when I say storefronts, I really mean more like individuals. I don't really mean so much like Nordstrom and stuff, but like kind of the one-off places, non-chains, like they got loaned, they opened the place up, that sort of thing. And the reason I really am attracted to those shops is purely is because there's a type of passion behind it with them. They're really excited. It's probably the most exciting debt they've ever encountered.
Yeah.
Like they're very passionate. They're really excited. They got this drive, and I think that's the drive I really admire in people when they want to start a business. And
Right.
if you can keep
Yeah.
that going and just have the consistency and never
Mm,
forget to just
that's
enjoy
right.
the process, it's
Yep.
something really amazing for them,
Yeah.
and like they're really going to treat you well. But
Oh yeah.
on the simple side,
Yeah.
okay, you have a storefront. What do you do? Well, maybe there's more of a mindset to do not less online things when you have something physical. I don't know, maybe like a storefront, like you maybe don't want to do as much online stuff because you don't know how it translates, but you put posters up, you do your window signs, you do billboards. I don't know, what else do you do?
Well, some places
Direct
maybe like,
mail.
yeah, even samples. If it's a place of like, I know a long time ago when Chick-fil-A was getting off the ground, you go to the malls, and they would be in there, and there they are passing out the best chicken samples they have, and I was like, man, that's what sold me on it, was like the taste, the flavor, and just even the fact that they were giving that out at the time. And so like samples, it could be something, even yeah, digital signage is now a thing, right? Where a lot of digital signage is out there. Um, uh, yeah, so as far as the offline stuff, um, it works really well because people still like traditional things, even if it's like a digital age that we're in, and we're moving forward with technology. I mean, a lot of it, people still like. I mean, some people still like the old school methods, and coupons that people clip out of magazines and stuff like that still happens. We all get the newspapers and the clip outs and in the mail.
Yeah,
All that.
like there's so many things you can do with
Yeah.
all of that. I think the best thing is really knowing that. Hold on one sec.
Yep.
I think sorry about that.
Oh,
Like
good.
like a party over here, just crashing into things. Anyways, there's a ton of different stuff. And I think the problem is there's not enough distinguished knowledge between any of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of either you do a lot of one thing or you do nothing of anything at all. So I think the problem people run into, I really believe this, and I think this, it doesn't matter what kind of business you have, storefront or not. Um, Understanding the fact that you might have to be a little more presentable when you have a storefront, because you can't be in your PJs at home doing phone sales.
Right.
And there might be a little more disconnect between, well, I don't want to run online ads because I have a storefront. I need foot traffic. See, so someone might be more inclined to do more physical types of marketing, which is usually offline marketing. And I say usually, I guess it just is, but online could be physical because someone holds the phone, but I think the disconnect is people aren't weird enough, and they don't know what their goals are and where they feel like they can translate it the best. I think that's the real thing. So offline and online, I think, have the same effect with people. If you get a flyer on your door, and it doesn't matter what kind of business it is, anything, really anything. You see a flyer on your door, okay? There are possibilities for which I mentioned before, which is luck. So you grab that thing and it says, do you want a free teeth cleaning? Well, who wants the teeth cleaning, right? No one likes the dentist, I guess. But you put that thing on the ground and you live your life, and life does its thing. And one day something happens with your dentist. He flies off to New Guinea and just forgets about the world. And you're like, man, I need a dentist. And then you are in active mode and you look down on the floor and you go, oh, there's the doctor dentist. Great. Let me give him a call. So there's a lot of benefits if you think about it. Like, you kind of get the same effect with online and offline, regardless if you're a storefront or not. It's the fact that people see you, and if they see you at the right time, you're going to get something. And it could be that could be the most minimal, right? So if we only just focus on the fact that someone laid their eyes on this material of you, at least they know some idea of what you are. And then there's an open interpretation for the luck that they'll have with, man, I really need a dentist right now. Oh, well, if I see the first thing, I'm going to take advantage of that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, ad placement and all that, there's the science behind all that. There's no coincidence that when you walk into the liquor store or the convenience store, it's like, there's that, container full of cold drinks, right? Whatever it is, it could be, water bottles or, Diet Coke or whatever it is, Monster. It's like they're positioned correctly it catches the eye. It's like it kind of in your way, but it's still far enough for you to not be distracted by it too much. And then when you go over there, there's all this ice inside that container. It's just nicely chilled. They're like, it's like the perfect amount of ice to make it cool. You pick it up. I need it, I mean, even some things that you see nowadays, it's been around for a while, but like the wraps on cars, you see the cars that are all wrapped up and they're just driving around and
totally. Yeah, even if you're trying to get that person's business, if you treat it as a prospect, you still snap a photo of it,
right.
And people are still seeing it. So you might not be able to measure that whatsoever.
Yeah.
Probably not at all, right? So they spend thousands, hundreds of dollars on getting their car wrapped or car magnets, and they have no idea if it works or not. Because maybe the person and this is kind of a luck thing too, like maybe a person calls and says, hey, I found your thing on your car and I called you. Or someone might not say that. Who knows? You'd have to just basically ask every person that got in contact with you, like, where did you find me? Did you see my car thing? And then you'd be able to measure it a little better if you wanted that type of thing. But
I will say something though, like, honestly, like, as far as from a marketing perspective, um, whatever campaigns companies do for themselves, whether it's online or offline, whether they're using a website or like a wrap on a car. I mean, the design elements, the logo and color schemes and things like that, there should be a definite consistency across the board, even from the business card to the flyers that people pass out. There's got to be that consistency, because I've come to learn that even in PowerPoint presentations, is there a logo nicely positioned on every page of the PowerPoint? It's just something about repetition, about just highlighting things that, whatever is important to the organization, they should convey that through their marketing. And so when people see it, they know, oh, this is important to this company, and oh, I like that. I'm buying into that.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
so yeah,
well, I know we're kind of going all over the place right now, but just to clarify, storefront or not, um, I think there's a couple of things that happen mostly. One thing is your storefront. You need more foot traffic, more customers come back, you build a relationship, but you also have that, you have a couple more things that you do online. You have that relationship building. So people walk in, you have the same receptionist and people like that. There's repetition to it. But it's not really about what type of marketing or what type of sales methods or processes you have necessarily. It's really more about what are your goals you're trying to achieve, and it's got to be something more specific than like, I just need more foot traffic. Something more like,
right,
well, I would like to increase sales for more Botox injections.
right,
Our most profitable product is this massage, and we want to sell more of these.
right,
Specific. And you just have to realize that online or offline or direct mail or whatever, even if you knock on doors or cold call, they're all channels that work because they all touch people.
absolutely,
You just need to figure out what goal you have that you're trying to accomplish, because it makes it so much more easier to utilize whether it's online or offline tools for marketing that you have available to achieve that most efficiently. And I think the second thing is people aren't creative enough. I really think so. I think when people jump into business, they put some filters on themselves and they don't get creative.
right,
They don't
right,
they don't like have fun with it. Like, probably the most simple thing you can do is just be extremely active on your social medias for your storefront. Make
uh-huh,
sure, I mean, this is just basic stuff. You could just make sure you use hashtags, make sure you use geolocations. Don't be afraid to like post yourself on there, post your family, like just be real with people. Do that
right,
consistently, and that can help. And towards the max, let's just say you're doing ads and you're doing door knocking and mailing and billboards and all that stuff. Uh,
right,
you really just have to keep in mind what communicates my goal the best for specifically this, and what can I use that works best for that. Um, and frankly, I mean, like, there is some truth to the luck we talked about. Sometimes you just get in the right location not knowing, and it just works out, and sometimes it doesn't. And people might come back to you because they just really like you, but it has nothing to do with the quality of anything, honestly. you know
yeah, no, totally. I mean, once you effectively brand yourself and then captivate an audience or an individual, and that person's brought to you and they actually try your product out, then that's when you succeeded in your marketing plan. And then also, we talk about sales and marketing going hand in hand. The sales component to this, believe it or not, I mean, I really believe that sales begins with marketing. It's not that like, oh, it's sales after marketing's finished, or there's a handoff from marketing to sales. we hear about that, like, oh, marketing generates the lead, and then, sales takes over and closes the deal. You hear this going back and forth, but my philosophy and belief is that sales actually happens with marketing. That's like a lead is the starting point of sales, and it just happens to be called marketing. Because if you really, here's why I clarify that. Not just to think, oh, I know something that no one else does, and I'm sure a million people know this anyways. But the reason why I bring that up is because if you really believe that sales starts with marketing, when you do your marketing campaigns, you'll run them with a sales kind of mentality. So it's not just we're putting up a nice brand, a logo, an image, a glossy flyer, just for the, kind of the wow effect of it, which, I mean, that's great.
Yeah.
But it's also, I mean, that's second to none. I mean, when you see a nice, art piece of art, yeah, it's like, wow. But I mean, just go a little step further, do the wow factor, but then also think, how can this marketing brochure even draw someone to purchase? How can my website draw someone to, we call it a call to action? How can we get someone to act on it? And not be like, I mean, I know that, we hear call to action, and it seems like, when you say that, everyone has their answer. Oh, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do this. Well, no, I mean, every company is different. It could be a very unique call to action. So maybe your website is different than every other site that's out there that's in your industry, because you figured out a way to reach your market in an innovative way.
Yes, I agree. I think yeah. People want like a one liner answer, right? And the thing with storefronts is there's normally like you typically, unless you're opening a new store and all the profit that you've made have fully funds it, most of the time if you're just starting out, you got some massive loan to pay for everything to open the thing. Now you're just trying to get to break even point and then make some profit over it and do that. It's kind of a unique situation in terms of you get so focused on trying to focus on cash flow, and everything you do needs to have an ROI behind it. But it's actually quite interesting that when you're trying to put yourself in front of people, you think, I'm trying to convince them, I'm trying to get them and say, hey, I'm here. And in reality, I mean, you could always have a great offer. You could offer something for free or come in and do this, or, I mean, it's your business. You could be as creative as you'd like, right? As long as it's not breaking any laws or something like that. But you can do whatever you want. You can do anything.
Yeah.
But a lot of times they might be, I keep saying filtered, but I really think it's filtered because they'll compare themselves to what everyone else is doing.
Right.
And really, if you know that you're full control, you can do whatever you'd like to do to try to say, hey, I'm here, right? And normally people are trying to get 98% of people, which are normally like future buyers. Right? Someone's probably not going to change their dentist right now, but they might change it if their insurance changes, or if their dentist like screws up their teeth or something. Right? There's only certain life events, and everyone goes after 98% of people and trying to get these like now buyers, right? They ever go on now buyers, but they don't realize that really 98% of people are really future buyers. Like, you just want it to be like they're the first thought in your head.
Right.
You're always planting seeds. And you can always put offers. You can always say free stuff this, free stuff that, get this, get that. And you can leverage this based on what other people are doing and go, okay, everyone's giving out free quotes. Everyone's doing this. There's got to be more than just get a free pricing, get a free. It's got to be more
Yeah,
to it.
honestly, yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, if everyone's given the same, discount, then there's really nothing different. Everyone's price is the same in the end, So it's like, well, is that really effective? Um, I'll boil it down to even a more granular idea. It's like, people, especially for the storefront, the mom and pop business owners that are out there, the storefronts, they people go into business because well, it's entrepreneurial. They have that spirit, they have that drive and that motivation, and they have an idea. And even though it's like, something that's very similar to what people are doing, say they go into apparel and they just want to open up a clothing line, right? Well, even though there's like a million different manufacturers of clothing, everyone has a very unique reason why they're doing it. And one example of that is like LRG, Lifted Research Group, right? They come out with their brand, and back in the day, and it was just known to be this kind of just a very pure brand, and they had this vision in mind to save the environment and stuff like that. So a lot of their apparel had trees on it or cool things like that, and it really separated them from, guess what, all the other t-shirt manufacturers, all the other apparel companies that were out there. So even if you're going into something that's not necessarily unique, say you go into open up a restaurant. Well, why does that particular business owner want to go to do that type of a restaurant? They must have some distinctive, I call it. What's their
Well,
motivation?
that's it.
Different.
So if I tell people, look at your competitors so you know what not to do. So however many people that companies that is, you just look at your competitors, you'll see exactly what they're doing. Majority of the time, they're all doing the same thing. The only difference usually is because they're just spending more than you. So they're just getting something out of it, But I would say focus on the harder percentage, right? Remember I said 98% of people are like future buyers, they're not ready to buy now, but they'll come to you because they had you in mind and it just was convenient for them, or you're nearby, whatever. But with the 2% of people, right, which are like now buyers. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
90% are future buyers and only 2% are now buyers, but people are trying to just mass market, right? So you look at it when everyone else is doing, you go, okay, I'm not going to do this, do that. So now I need to find a solution that's completely different because I want to try to hit a hot market with something that can get people in. Now, people listening are probably going to like, yeah, duh, right?
Yeah.
But
Well, yeah, common sense isn't so common.
no, but that's the thing. It's like, that's what everyone has an expectation of. It's, you're going to run ads for me. Okay, cool. If I don't get an ROI back in the first month, I'm not going to work with you anymore.
Right.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's a bit, I mean, for us marketers and advertisers, it's a bit frustrating when the art of what we do isn't really understood that well. People think, well, I need to get a return like right away. And there's aspects of sowing the seed before the harvest time, and it's no similar, I mean, it's no different in business. It's like, we have to be out there putting out 1 million flyers before someone buys a house. Realtors, they do that really well. You see the same realtor on your doorsteps with like the flyer, their pad of paper, and year after year, they're Christmas time, all the holidays. But hey, not only until that fifth year they did it to your house did you call them up and say, yeah, what are you up to? So I mean, it's repetition sometimes, or they call it canvassing. But I mean, I don't know, hopefully, like, what I was trying to get to before is, we go into business as entrepreneurs thinking, I'm going to make a difference. I'm going to make a statement. I'm not just selling hamburgers. I'm changing the world. Right. And
Yeah, that's true.
it's like, you know what I mean? And it's like, oh yeah, you are, one hamburger at a time, come on, bring it. And so it's like, and that's great. I love that. I mean, you too, right, Daniel? We love seeing people get excited about their businesses and go out there and just like, promote. So I guess like what I'm trying to get to is, I think as business owners, maybe that's the audience we're talking to right now. We need to get back to our grassroots, get back to the original plan. You know, why did we go into business to begin with? You know, was it to, you know what I mean? Because all of a sudden, I've noticed this for myself. When I get back to myself again, go, why am I doing this? You know, what is the reason to go through the sorrow, the headaches, and all that? What's the whole purpose? And then you go, yeah, you know what? There was some pure reason why I wanted to do this. You know,
Yeah.
for me, it was I want to help business owners increase sales. I want to do that for them, right? And so, so I go back to that, and it's like, okay, I'm just gonna focus on what my original plan was. And when I do that, I find that like I just get more energy. My
Yeah.
sales meetings go a lot. You know, my interviews with my customers and clients, they go a lot better. I mean, things I mean, you know, just get a lot better. The atmosphere changes. I mean, you just get a lot more strength, you know, and it's just really cool. I don't know. I mean, and I know a lot of these business owners are out there laboring, and they think they're the only ones doing it. And they just, you know, they think like, man, am I the only person that really, you know, cares or whatever? You know, their employees are quitting on them, or they're getting like sued left and right, you know? And then it's like, why am I even doing this? Right. I would say just go back to your fundamentals, you know, the basics again, to why you started the business, and just pick yourself up again, you know? And, you know, if you have a business
Yeah.
partner,
Like,
yeah,
are you there just so that people walk by and go, oh, I could use a massage? Or are you there to people go, oh man, you got to go to this place. It's amazing. I think there's a slight difference there, you know?
yeah,
You got to be there for a reason, not just because, well, I'm looking for a massage and I happen to be here. And I'm just trying to entice like brainstorming. You know, I might say stuff that's just totally off and weird, but I'm just trying to get people to like think, you know, brainstorm more, you know, be more creative. Know
hmm
that you actually have an upper hand. Okay, two things I got to mention. First thing is storefronts will never go away. And why is that? Because
yeah,
like driverless cars, I don't think they'll be as practical as people think they will, because um, there's still a thing that driverless cars cannot give, which is human interaction.
hmm
Like, we are not going to become more robotic. We just become more human. And
hmm
storefronts will always be there because people have that human interaction experience, which you can't
yeah,
get through online or anything, regardless if you do videos or not. And it doesn't discredit online, but there's a human interaction. That's the point. And that goes into your sales, right? So typically if someone walks into your storefront, I would say, I don't know how true this is, so don't quote me, but I would say you probably can, they're probably more likely going to purchase something from you than if they went online. Because I don't know exactly why, but I think it's just because they trust their eyes more and their senses based on where they're at. So they're in a store, they went in there for a purpose. And see, a reason might be why they don't want to walk out without purchasing anything, because they don't want to be embarrassed. You know, there's a certain thing like that. Like, I don't want to be that guy that walks into the store and walks out not buying anything. You know, that could be a reason.
yeah,
So storefronts will never go away. And I would say I don't know a mass one-liner solution for how to market for storefronts. You should do this and do that, and then you'll be rich. I think
yeah,
the ones that stand out and do very well is because they were the ones that were able to look at what everyone else is doing, go, okay, I'm not going to do that. I know
yeah,
what I'm trying to offer people and get people to come in for, and I do it in a really bonkers and weird way.
yeah, absolutely. And customer service again, just like we talked about a couple episodes ago. You know, if you treat your clients at a store, you know, with respect and have good customer service, serving them, I mean, they'll not just come back; they'll bring their family and friends. They'll tell people. So like word of mouth is really big in storefront marketing.
Man.
Um, you
Oh,
know, a
oh,
lot of storefronts are like, oh, all I do is word of mouth, and it's very
oh,
true. It's
dude,
like,
totally.
yeah,
Yeah, you know, okay, here's something that's kind of a one-liner. Okay. I'm telling you, if you have a waiting room, all right, these are like doctors, any kind of place that you normally have to do an appointment, and there's a front waiting area. Okay. This is probably some of the best stuff you can do, and it doesn't cost you much money. Okay. There's multiple ways, but I'm just give you a couple things. Okay. I walk into a dentist, right? I'm trying to think of just really places that are not normally exciting places. But maybe they can be, because maybe you're getting a new set of teeth, and maybe you're getting new glasses, and that's exciting. You're getting like these new car or something. Okay, here's the thing. You walk in to whatever it is, and you go, okay, hi, welcome. Yep, got 2 o'clock appointment. Okay, go sit down and wait. Right? What if someone came over to you? Again, people are going to be like, oh, that's so, but the result and the reaction you get out of people is amazing. You walk over and go, hey, James, how's it going? I know you have a 2 o'clock appointment. Just hang tight. And, would you like anything to drink? Would you like coffee or water or a snack or whatever? Just simple, like a simple thing like that can mean the world to them. Here's another thing too, and you could apply this to anything. Now, I don't really know how, specifically, but I hope this sparks an idea in your head. So for healthcare, emergency rooms, okay? They get packed, you wait for hours, and no one understands the idea of, well, my kid has a headache, but then the kid comes in with a gunshot wound. Why are they going ahead of me when I've been here for 5 hours? You know what I mean? It's because they categorize the urgency, but they don't realize that, and they don't really care. So if you walk in an emergency room and someone comes to you and says, hi, what's going on? And you go, well, I have this, I need to see a specialist or something. Okay. And they go, okay, come with me. We're going to put you in this room. This is the special room where we put everyone who needs to see a specialist in. Okay. The wait time does not change. The experience of them sitting doesn't change. The only difference is they're just making it seem like there's a difference and saying, oh, specialist, okay, you need to go over here and sit in this special room to see a specialist.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It just changes the perception, and it just makes, for whatever reason, just makes them go, oh yeah, that makes sense. Okay, yeah. I don't know why, but I'm there, and they'll probably be much happier. So if you can take some sort of small thing where, well, we have a lot of people waiting. Let's put magazines. Well, that kind of sucks. But why don't you, again, I'm kind of just talking off the top of my head, but if you can figure out a way to make that a little more pleasant, or sneak your little way in and go, hey, would you like some coffee? Would you like this? Would you like that? Can really boost things for you. And like, I think you want to be able to do things that stick with people when you have a storefront. You have that opportunity.
Yeah, totally. And like you said, like food and drinks go a long way, especially if it's a hot day outside or a cold day, reverse with hot coffee. I mean, like, one of the places I really like going to, it's the Embassy, or is it Embassy Suites, or it's a hotel chain that's out there. And I'm not sure off the top of my head right now which one it is, but when you go in there, they have the most amazing cookies. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah. It's the exact. Go ahead. This is exactly it.
Yeah. It's like I don't know if it's the Embassy Suites or I can't get my mind around the name of the hotel chain, but like you go in there and they have the best cookies, and all of them have it. Like you can go to any one of them. You walk in and you ask, anyone at the bar or whatever, oh yeah, can I have a bag of the cookies that you guys have? And they just sample it. They just give you like a handful of cookies, and they just pass them out, And,
they do that at check-in too. Like they'll give you like some warm cookies or something.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And there's this, they're kind of like oatmeal raisin, but they're like, I don't know, they got chocolate inside too, but like, it's really good. And so sometimes I'll just be driving around, like, say I'm in traffic, or I get lost, or whatever. I'm like, hey, there's one of those hotels over here. I was going to stop by and rest for a little bit, right? Go get a drink or whatever. And then like, hey, you guys need those cookies here? And they'll sure enough, they bring a bag of those cookies to you. I mean, normally they just do it for the guests, right? But then if you're just asking, you're sitting there, they'll just give it to you. There's no big deal. And
I
it's,
know, but
you know,
you may like, okay, you may never go back. Let's just say that, right? You never go back to the hotel, not because you don't like it, but just because you don't have the need. But 12 years down the line, you're going to be like, oh, you're staying at Embassy Suite or whatever it is, wherever the hotel is, whatever brand. And you're like, oh, they give out the free cookies.
yeah,
And like, it has nothing to do with really anything. It's just a nice touch. It just, you can't help but go, oh, like when you check in, they give you warm cookies. You know what I mean?
right, right,
It
absolutely,
sticks with you.
yeah,
Like, that's the essence, I'd say, that storefront owners have over online. You know, because the only thing you do
absolutely,
extra with
absolutely.
online really is besides just giving whatever. But it'd be like, well, we'll give you an extra gift, but you have to like order something because that's the only
Yeah,
time it
absolutely,
makes sense. But yeah, they have that advantage. They have that advantage.
yeah. So
And it's
you know,
something little.
it
It's
gives it
something
gives
little.
people the warm fuzzies, right? You know, the warm fuzzies, and you know, it's like again, this guy that I know at Capizio Dance, he has a dance apparel store where they sell pointing shoes or dance shoes, ballet shoes, tights, you know, leotards, all that kind of stuff. We go there all the time because my daughter's a ballet dancer, and then
Oh yeah.
we go there. And this guy, he does free point toe shoe fittings. So if anyone walks into a store and they just want to try out, you know, buy a pair of shoes off of him, he'll do a free fitting for them. And it's like, it's not just this like put the shoe on, does it fit? He does this. He does all these different things, like have them stand a certain way and turn and all this stuff. It takes about 20 minutes to do a real good you know, shoe fitting, and he offers that as a service, you know, in his store. So people know that about him, and so like you'll have random customers coming in saying, "Yeah, I heard you do the shoe fittings here. Can I get one done?" Yeah, come on over, and he, you know, does a shoe fitting, and then 9 times out of 10 they'll buy a pair of shoes or whatever they need. But it's just like you said, with the in-store elements, like you can't do that online. You can't do that anywhere except inside your own store. You know?
Yeah, yeah, I know. There's a lot of fun things you can do. There's a lot of fun things you can do. And the greatest part is you're individual. You're an individual to that business as an owner. And so yourself, you can use your personality to translate it through your business. You know, like um I just want to spark more ideas into people. You know, you and I, James, don't always have the answers for everything.
Right. Right.
But answers can be a lot more simple than people think. And at the end of the day, the whole purpose of Peppers and Flowers is to tell people, like, no matter what you're doing, you're dealing with people. You're
Yeah.
dealing with people. And the
Yeah.
smallest things go a long way. The
Yep.
smallest thing. So last thing I want to leave everyone with, if you have anything left to say, James, I'll just quickly state this. You can put your last thought in. But the last thing I want to say is your storefront is like your first impression. Okay. And what do I mean by that? I don't necessarily mean by like how you dress and how you look necessarily. I mean more like the small things really matter, right? Like you might be a Michelin star restaurant, or you might be a really well dressed guy and you have abs and you just, everyone's like, dang, right? But then you might have a weird smell. You might be like, I don't think this guy put deodorant on, and it just ruins it, you know? So the smallest little thing has the biggest effect, and you can vice versa that, where the littlest thing could have the biggest effect.
Yeah.
And so I just want people to keep that in their mind and think like, what can I do to do different things than what everyone else is doing? Because there's always room for improvement and to brainstorm. And so the final thought is, if you're a guitar musician, there's 24 frets. Sometimes there's 22 frets, I think, on a guitar. Let's just say 24. There's 5 strings. So the combinations that are possible on a guitar fretboard is literally limitless. Like,
I didn't know
you
that.
never run out of combinations to play notes on a guitar fretboard. And I believe that's the same way with business. So there's always solutions.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah. I mean, my closing thought is this. how many people? Well, let's see. Every person has a personality, right? And there's no two of the same people on the planet. And so therefore, let your personality shine. You know, don't worry about doing what business is already doing out there, or what business even might be doing in the future, trying to guess at that, or even trying to keep up with what's going on right now. Just like kind of get out of that mindset and say, what's my personality? You know, what kind of person am I? You know, what, you know, maybe even how was I brought up, or what's my background, my experiences in life, and how can I make that a reality for other people? You know, whether you were a surfer growing up, a snowboarder, a basketball player, or just, you know, someone who is not athletic and more on the studious side. I mean, whatever it is that you are like, or whatever your personality is, let that come out in your work, you know? And whether it's a restaurant making food, or, you know, putting up any kind of service or product that you might have to sell, let your work come out. And even amongst the company culture, let it shine through your, you know, your employees, and how you guys are. And not that everyone's going to be just like you, but, you know, there's a certain culture of, man, everyone's so polite here. Well, gosh, the CEO is very polite, you know. Or, oh my gosh, everyone's so outgoing. Not that
Yeah.
one's better than the other, but let your personality shine, and you'll be happy to see that you know, you're making a difference just by being yourself.
That's well said.
Thank
I
you.
agree. I agree. I think everyone has the power inside them to figure something unique about their business to get more foot traffic and that sort of thing. They just like when you plan to start a business, you have to think about it, and you get nervous, and you're like, I don't know if I should do that, and you do it, and it turns out to be a good thing or a bad thing. You know, I don't know. But anyways, I think that was a lot of a lot of stuff. I think that was a lot of good stuff.
A lot of good stuff, man. That's right. That's right. Well, friends, no more jokes today. That's a wrap. Thank you for joining us today at Peppers and Flowers. We look forward to joining you again next Saturday. So Daniel and James signing off.